In the headlines for this hour on VTV News, Vietnam and Indonesia upgrade relations to a comprehensive strategic partnership. And Vietnam proactive approach to foreign investment praised by international community. And later on in the world news, former Philippine President Duterte arrested on ICC warrant.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 8 a.m. local time in Hanoi. You're watching VTV News. During his state visit to Indonesia, Party General Secretary Theo attended meetings to promote parliamentary cooperation between the two countries.
On Tuesday morning, Party General Secretary Theo met with Puan Maharani, Indonesia's House of Representatives Speaker. Both leaders praised the ongoing relationship between Vietnam's National Assembly and Indonesia's House of Representatives. They agreed to continue deepening exchanges at all levels. They discussed sharing information and experiences and working closely together to support each other on international and regional platforms, contributing to the realization of the Vietnam-Indonesia Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. Also on Tuesday, General Secretary Theo met with Ahmad Muzani, Speaker of Indonesia's People's Consultative Assembly. The two leaders expressed their delight at the strong, practical, and effective development of the relations between the Vietnamese National Assembly and the MPR, both bilaterally and multilaterally, calling the legislative relationship a crucial component of the overall ties between the two countries. Both expressed their hope that the legislative bodies will continue contributing positively to the friendship, multifaceted cooperation, and comprehensive strategic partnership. At a meeting on Tuesday, Party General Secretary Theo and Speaker of the Regional Representatives Council, or Senate, of Indonesia, Sultan Bakhtiar Najamuddin, affirmed that Vietnam and Indonesia share a long-standing friendship, common interests, and similar viewpoints. As active ASEAN members, both nations see strong potential to strengthen their bilateral ties further. They highlighted the importance of deepening the newly established comprehensive strategic partnership, which benefits their citizens and contributes to a united, resilient, and strong ASEAN.
Party General Secretary Theo, Politburo member and director of the Ho Chi Minh National Academy of Politics and chair of the Central Council on Theoretical Studies, Nguyễn Xuân Thắng, held talks during their state visit to Indonesia. They met with Meltia Viada Hafith, Vice President of the Golkar Party and Minister of Communications and Digital Transformations of Indonesia, and Ahmad Basara, a member of the Executive Committee of the Indonesian Democratic Party of Struggle. At the talks, the General Secretary praised the strong relationship between the parties, particularly with the Communist Party of Vietnam. He emphasized further promoting cooperation in digital transformations, foreign affairs, exchanges, and leadership training. Additionally, Politburo member Nguyễn Xuân Thắng met with Dr. Muhammad Taufik, President of the Indonesian National Institute of Public Administration, to discuss enhancing collaboration in training administrative staff, governance, and policy consulting. As part of her state visit to Indonesia, Ngo Phương Ly, wife of the Party General Secretary, visited the Indonesian Childhood Cancer Care Organization YAKAKI in Jakarta. During her visit, she met with children, presented gifts, and expressed a deep appreciation for YAKAKI's dedication to supporting young cancer patients. She encouraged doctors, medical staff, and volunteers to continue providing the best care, ensuring no child faces cancers alone. Founded in 2006, YAKAKI is an official member of the International Childhood Cancer Organization, with 7 facilities across Indonesia. Its work not only brings hopes to children, but also serve as a source of strength for their families and the broader community. After completing a successful state visit to Indonesia and an official visit to the ASEAN Secretariat, General Secretary Tô Lâm, his spouse, and the high-ranking Vietnamese delegation departed from Halim Perdanakusuma Military Airport in Jakarta for an official visit to Singapore. President of the Republic of Indonesia and chair of the Great Indonesia Movement Party, Gerindra Prabowo Subianto, came to the airport to bid farewell to General Secretary Tô Lâm and the delegation, reflecting the strong ties and mutual respect between the two countries' leaders. During the state visit to Indonesia, Party General Secretary Tô Lâm and President Prabowo Subianto issued a joint statement agreeing to put bilateral relations onto a comprehensive strategic partnership footing. The two leaders committed to strengthening cooperation, including politics, economy, security, science and technology, digital transformation, and finance. They also reaffirmed their commitment to maintaining peace and stability in the East Sea, promoting the peaceful resolutions of disputes in accordance with international law, particularly UNCLOS 1982. The country leader tasked their respective ministries of foreign affairs with developing an action plan to implement Pacific Cooperation Initiative. Party General Secretary Tô Lâm also invited President Prabowo Subianto to visit Vietnam at a convenient time, and President Prabowo gladly accepted the invitation. Party General Secretary Tô Lâm, his spouse, and a high-ranking Vietnamese delegation arrived at Chiang Mai Airport on Tuesday, beginning a three-day official visit to Singapore at the invitations of Prime Minister and Secretary General of the ruling People's Action Party, Lawrence Wong. This is the Party General Secretary Tô Lâm first visit to Singapore as the Party General Secretary, marking a new milestone in bilateral relations and demonstrating Vietnam's special attentions to elevating relations with Singapore to new heights. And in Singapore, Party General Secretary Tô Lâm met with leaders of major corporations and businesses.
In a meeting with Shangri-La Healthcare Investment senior management, General Secretary Tô Lâm urged the company to accelerate its healthcare projects and continue investing, particularly in high-tech and eco-friendly sectors. He emphasized Vietnam's commitment to creating favorable conditions for investors. The company's leaders updated him on a $400 million medical complex project, aiming for completion by 2029 with continued support.
Meeting with the chair of Temasek, the party chief stressed Vietnam's focus on economic growth, private sector development, and foreign investment. He also mentioned the country's free trade agreements, which create a conducive environment for investors. The firm expressed interest in participating in green transformation and renewable energy projects.
Meeting with Semcorp Group leaders, General Secretary Tô Lâm praised the cooperation on 18 VSIP industrial parks and reaffirmed Vietnam's support for investment in high-tech parks. He noted that the two countries would reassess economic cooperation to enhance the investment climate. He highlighted Vietnam's growing demand for energy and plans to develop renewable power, welcoming corporate participation in these fields.
Meeting with Keppel Group leaders, General Secretary Tô Lâm expressed interest in the group's housing development, energy, and data center construction operations. He emphasized Vietnam's encouragement of all forms of investment in financial centers. The group's leaders committed to supporting Vietnam's development and ensuring social security.
After meeting with the leader of CMIA Capital Partners, General Secretary Tô Lâm expressed support for the project and assured local agencies they would address any obstacles to ensure its timely completion and avoid disruptions to businesses and local development.
Meeting with the Singapore Business Federation chair, the party chief praised the federation's role in connecting the two business communities. He reiterated Vietnam's commitment to reforming administrative procedures, reducing business costs, and attracting investors with modern technology. The General Secretary hoped the Federation would develop a plan to further promote cooperation between Vietnamese and Singaporean businesses.
Later that afternoon, General Secretary To Lump attended Vietjet Air's announcement of its new direct flight route from Singapore to Phu Quoc, starting May 30th. This is the fourth direct route between Singapore and Vietnam. Additionally, Vietjet signed a $300 million sponsorship agreement with Carlyle Aviation Partners to support the purchase of aircraft for delivery in 2025 to 2026. Vietjet also signed a cooperation agreement with SAT Air Company for supply solutions for its fleet.
Also on Tuesday afternoon, Party General Secretary To Lâm had a working session with a representative of Vietnamese experts and academics in Singapore. He urged them to continue researching and contributing ideas to help the country improve its institutional framework and mastery of digital technologies, train high-quality human resources, and promote Vietnamese intellectual capacity. The party leader called on the relevant ministries and agencies to research and consider the concrete implementation of the contributions from overseas Vietnamese. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính commented on the administrative reorganization and the shift to a two-tier local government model on March 11th while chairing a session of the Government Party Committee's Standing Board. He emphasized that restructuring administrative units would bring the government closer to the public, streamline operations, and improve public services. The proposals aim to reduce provincial-level units by nearly 50% and local-level units by over 70%. This initiative seeks to build a leaner, more efficient government while unlocking local potentials and boosting competitiveness. The restructuring must consider population, land size, and historical, culture, and economic factors. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính stressed the importance of maintaining historical continuity in naming new provinces and strategically selecting administrative centers. He also called for a review of the roles of provincial and commune-level governments to ensure efficiencies and public benefit. Coming up next on VTV News, Vietnam's proactive approach to a foreign investment praised by international community. And the truth behind border crossing in search of asylum. Welcome back to VTV News. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính recently held dialogues with 8 representatives of the foreign investor business community, highlighting Vietnam's proactive approach to international inward investment. The country's new policies to cut processing times and business costs by 30% have garnered a strong interest from international investors and media.
Chinese media praised Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính dialogue with Chinese enterprises, highlighting Vietnam's efforts for sustainable growth and its appeal as an investment destination for mutually beneficial cooperation.
Stable government policies, clear ministerial directions, and synchronized infrastructure will drive Vietnam's economic growth and enhance its appeal to foreign investors.
U.S. Deputy Chief of Mission for the U.S. Mission Courtney Beale stated that American businesses see Vietnam as a crucial market and are eager to support its development. This recognition underscores Vietnam's significance not only as a trade partner but also as a strategic regional ally.
A lot of U.S. multinationals and financial investors remain very interested in consumer-related markets of financial services, education, healthcare. In terms of some of the broader, more ambitious targets, the U.S. tech companies are keen on making investments in Vietnam, subject to resolution of some issues around some of the recent regulation that I mentioned before.
In a recent article, Scandasia highlighted the importance of a stable and transparent legal framework in enhancing Vietnam's appeal to foreign investors.
Not only makes time, but listens, and on some topics even immediately issues decisions and asks the appropriate ministries to take, while Vietnam understands that their future needs to be aligned with the future of their investors.
The more and the stronger free trade, the stronger the incentive is to continue to invest. That is oftentimes one of the bigger levers in an operations decision. The second piece of that is magnifying that, and you've alluded to that with other companies.
With total registered capital exceeding $6.9 billion in the first 2 months of this year, FDI enterprises play a key role in Vietnam's economic growth.
On Tuesday morning, the National Assembly Standing Committees agreed to the government's proposal to reduce land rent by 30% in 2024 and issue a decree outlining the details. In recent years, land rent reduction has been a key fiscal policy, helping people and businesses gain more resources to develop productions and businesses.
Renting over 9 hectares since 2021 and benefiting from the state's land rent exemption, the enterprise saved $157,000 USD to reinvest in new production lines with modern technology.
With this funding, we invest in enhancing product quality and launching new products to boost enterprise competitiveness and significantly improve investment efficiency.
Reducing input costs drives production and boosts business confidence in this year's growth target.
We use the exemption funds to reinvest and expand production. Our business benefits from government policies while increasing production, creating dual benefits for businesses and the state, and supporting the Prime Minister's 8% growth target.
Total land rent in 2024 is expected to be reduced by $157 million USD, with the Ministry of Finance proposing 2 options to maintain last year's reduction for people and businesses.
The tax reduction policy has proven effective. Since it doesn't require an approval process, it can be implemented immediately. This policy has a fast and significant impact on the economy.
With the first quarter of 2025 nearly over, it is essential to quickly propose and implement support policies to boost production and business and help achieve the government's 8% economic growth target.
Men take care of their health less than women, a key finding from the scientific conference announcing the results of the national study on gender equality conducted by the Vietnam Academy of Social Sciences and the Vietnam Women Union. The study analyzed the current situations and challenges in 7 key areas: education and training, economic, healthcare, social welfare, family, gender-based violence prevention, climate change and disaster response, and state management. Notably, this is the first time male-targeted violence has been studied in Vietnam. The research was based on surveys conducted last year across 6 socio-economic regions nationwide. The Central Highlands are strategically significant for Vietnam's economy, society, and national defense. However, hostile forces attempting to undermine national unity targeted. The Ministry of Public Security reports that this group use deceptive refugee resettlement schemes to entice people to cross the border into Thailand.
In late February, international reports indicated that Thai police arrested over 60 ethnic people from the Central Highlands in Bangkok for illegal entry. The Ministry of Public Security estimates that around 1,300 ethnic Vietnamese are currently residing illegally in Thailand, often deceived by malicious groups exploiting religious and economic issues.
He assured us that going to Thailand would result in no arrests, just attending a Daga Protestant meeting.
They promised it was a great place with plenty of money, where we could work and earn.
In 2019, I crossed the border with the wrong people. Life was hard. No work or money for rent and it being kicked out. My children are illiterate.
Life is precarious, with many exploited as living witnesses to support false claims spread by reactionary groups like BPSOS, MSFJ, and others. These organizations falsely argue that most Vietnamese seeking asylum in Thailand are victims of religious persecution in Vietnam.
I crossed the border thinking there would be work, but it was not as promised. It was about political opposition and criticizing the party and state. They told me what to say and filmed it.
Life is precarious, with many exploited as living witnesses to support false claims spread by reactionary groups like BPSOS, MSFJ, and others. These organizations falsely argue that most Vietnamese seeking asylum in Thailand are victims of religious persecution in Vietnam.
The police have sent a team to Thailand to engage with the people directly, explain the situation, and offer support, ensuring they have the best conditions to reintegrate and rebuild their lives.
When I saw the police, I cried, feeling deeply grateful for the chance to return home. I was much happier in my hometown.
I've been through it and know how hard it is. I hope people here focus on peaceful business in their villages and avoid the false promises from Thailand.
On Tuesday, the Hoa Lao Prison Relic Management Board hosted Timeless Impressions, a journey through history, a reenactment of the historic prison break 80 years ago. The event featured an escape in which participants crawled through the sewers. In 1945, prisoners also used two other methods, scaling the prison wall and passing through the prison gate, where they mingled with visitors, bringing supplies, helping them escape from Hoa Lao prison. The recreation was attended by the relative of former political prisoner who participated in the historic prison break. Coming up next in our War News, former Philippine President DUTERTE arrested on ICC warrant. And U.S. completes purge of USAID programs. The Philippine government arrested former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte on Tuesday at the request of the International Criminal Court (ICC). Rodrigo Duterte was arrested upon his arrival at an airport in Manila, the Philippines capital. The former leader is currently in custody. The ICC has investigated Duterte over his controversial anti-drugs crackdown during his time in office that left thousands dead. Duterte, a former lawyer, has called the arrest warrant illegal. During his arrest, the former president was deprived of legal representation. The Trump administration has completed cutting the U.S. Agencies for International Development USAID programs. Specifically, over 80% of development aid programs will be canceled, and 18% of aid and development programs will be transferred to the State Department. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said about 5,200 of USAID's 6,200 programs will be cut. According to Rubio, those programs spent tens of billions of dollars in ways that did not serve and, in some cases, even harm the core national interest of the United States. The Trump administration announced on Monday that USAID employees abroad must return to the U.S. by April 6th at the government's expense. Most of the world has polluted air, with only 7 countries and 17% of global cities meeting the World Health Organization (WHO) air quality standards in 2024. IQ Air, a Swiss-based air quality monitoring company, released this data on Tuesday. More to follow.
Chad was named the most polluted country in 2024, with average smog levels more than 15 times higher than WHO guidelines. The next 4 most polluted countries were Bangladesh, Pakistan, Congo, and India. Many regions witnessing the worst air pollution are also places where planet-heating gases are released extensively through burning coal, oil, and gas. Climate change is also contributing to increased pollution as higher temperatures lead to more intense and longer wildfires, particularly in Southeast Asia and South America. According to the WHO, air pollution is the biggest environmental threat to human health, causing around 7 million deaths a year globally.
So there's so much research out there on various health consequences of air pollution, but I just would like to highlight two things here. The first one is that there's now some studies that link air pollution to Alzheimer's disease. So we normally associate air pollution to respiratory illness, right? That's what the general public normally thinks of, but air pollution affects more than just your lungs. And the second is that some air pollutants are classified as carcinogens, so basically cancer-causing.
However, several cities like Beijing, Seoul, and Rybnik in Poland have successfully improved their air quality through stricter regulations on pollution from vehicles, power plants, and industry. They've also promoted cleaner energy and invested in public transportation. 7 countries that meet WHO air pollution guidelines are Australia, the Bahamas, Barbados, Estonia, Grenada, Iceland, and New Zealand.
Scientists in London are using AI to detect previously invisible brain abnormalities. These abnormalities are too subtle for standard detection methods. However, they can cause epilepsy. The tool's MELD grabbed spot around 2/3 of the tiny abnormalities that human radiologists often miss when studying a patient's MRI scan. The tool has been in development for 10 years, trained on MRI data from more than 700 people with focal cortical dysplasia, a major cause of epilepsy. The system highlights that what it thinks might be an abnormality and also explain why. A radiologist can check them, the analyst, speeding up the diagnosis and access to surgery. And now, as usual, let's continue with the weather forecast. And that's it for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch the program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download our mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.